two. I got tons of soul, I'm a true collectible. Famous, also famous, number one, desirable. I do what I want, when I want, and how I want it. Leave you with the one in the air, that's how I roll. I got tons of soul, I'm a true collectible. Famous, also famous, number one, desirable. I do what I want, when I want, and how I want it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.
You are now tuned in to this week's episode of our podcast. Today, we are going to interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in our field. By sharing our collective expertise, we will show you how to harness, control, and use your own skill set to achieve ultimate success and live the life you want. And now, please welcome your host.
Good to have you on the show today. My name is Omobola Stephen. Welcome to the show. My podcast really focuses on self-development and personal improvement topics with the occasion of incredible guests who have come to the show to share their insight on topics or subjects on the personal development. Now, my guests have been incredible and amazing, sharing their insight, which are profound, both industrial insight, personal experience, and also the business side of the story. Today, I have Andre Paradis, who is a coach, teacher, educator, mentor, and public speaker. Now, Andre is here to talk about building healthy relationships. I know you now are interested in subjects like this. Welcome on the show with me today, Andre Paradis.
Thank you, Dottie. Nice to be here. Absolutely.
All right. Nice to have you on the show, Andre. Now, I'm looking forward to your professional insight on the topic of discussion, especially about relationships right now. Andre, why does relationship tend to be a power struggle?
Well, in our culture, we if we go back to the way it used to be, right, and before the 50s, before the Second World War, like there was very specific roles for men and women. There was very little freedom of choice. Women were mothers and wives, and men went to work. And that was sort of the normal way to do it. We were bound by beliefs in a culture, religion beliefs. Women didn't have sex before marriage. That was a terrible thing back then, right? And men, in order to get married, had to be valuable. They had to have something to offer and be able to support a woman. That was like the way it used to be. So very little freedom, but structured that allow society to grow and build, because marriage and relationships were always for the children, stable environment for the children. That was the idea of marriage, stabilize and just, raise some children, some healthy children. So, but after the sexual revolution and when the pill was introduced to the world, where women were free sexually to be able to, not be so responsible, if you want to put it that way, with the fact that pregnancy was now not something they were so worried about, and they sexually got free. We started changing all the rules, which is normal. It's great. So, women started wanting to be more free. More free men, well, also different choices. Now we have a lot more choices. You don't have to be a housewife. You could be a woman in the world. You could be a working woman. You could have some independence that way, right? Women were always dependent on men. So now, so that was an interesting thing. That was fantastic. So, and then not so bound by religion and, morals, right? That kind of is loosened. Like we started like letting go of the rigidity of the framework. So freedom, more choice. And that's all great.
What are the women missing out?
All right. Well, so again, cultural belief out there that men don't want to commit. Right? Men don't want to commit. If you leave them alone, they're never going to commit. They don't want to commit. They want to commit, right? That's like so not true. That is such a lie. And I'll tell you how that works. Because men understand, from my perspective with men, because a lot of men's work too, that men understand commitment much more than women understand commitment. Women do not understand commitment. And I'll explain, right? So commitment for men, and for most men that are masculine, by the way, in my world, there's not all men are man. in my world, there's three types of men. That's the first thing I teach my ladies. There is no such thing as, man, as in like, there's different types of men. And some men don't want to step up. Some men don't want to work. Some men don't want to do the right things. Some men don't want to support women. Well, in my world, I call them boys. That's not a man. So powerful women often end up with boys, and they resent boys because boys don't want to do anything. And she ends up taking care of him, making his life better. That is not what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about man, it's man, masculine men, men who are naturally man are different beasts. So real men, I hate to say it this way, but real men are all about commitment, which means our operating system is commitment from moment to moment. So, which means if just for me to get up to go to work, have to be committed to get up and going to work. Everything I do, I have to commit to. I cannot turn around without committing to doing it. You understand? For us, commitment is like the action needed to make things happen. That's commitment. I commit to my job. I commit to my wife. I commit to my children. I commit to my household. I commit to my responsibilities. I commit to get in the car and get out to work on time. I commit to do my job properly. Everything we do is about commitment. So it's not commitment that men don't understand or are afraid of at all. It's the exact opposite. It's a commitment, let's say, with a relationship is a huge deal. And what men do, because we all very quickly understand this, that, a great woman has the potential to help you and do a great life together. A bad woman is hell. So men will wait and watch you and take their time getting to know you slowly to see if life's going to be great or life's going to be hell. That's it, right? So, because it's a huge deal. Because at the same time, when he commits to you, I say it like this, and it's going to sound weird, but I don't know how else to explain it. That when a man takes a commitment, a wife, let's say, or even a girlfriend, that's on him. He's going to hold himself accountable for this. So it's like taking a backpack on. Like now I'm wearing the backpack. It's my job. She's my girl, right? I have to take care of her. I have to make time for her. I have to right? So, and some men aren't ready for that. The boys don't want to do that, as opposed to the man. But a man will be really careful about how much he takes on that way because it's the rest of his life. Because I would say this, when a man commits to a woman, as in marriage, he's not trying to get away from that. It's such a big, big decision that he's going to do everything in the world to make this work, especially if that kid. Men don't leave very easy. Men leave eventually when they realize that they can't make her happy. This is always the same phrase.
Andre.
That's what I see.
Right. Now let's look at it this way. You're talking about men sticking, right? They don't want to leave, or probably most times because of the children, right? Now the men don't want to leave, right? But how about them choosing to still flirt around or have a fling outside?
Wait, one more time. I didn't get that.
Now you talk about men, right, wanting to cling, right, to the relationships, especially when they have the children, right, to take care of.
Yeah.
It gives more commitment. So how about a man deciding like, fine, I can walk away from this relationship, right? Because I'm so addicted or so bonded, or because of the children, I'm so committed. But then I can choose to have flings or have a girlfriend outside. What do you say to that?
I say to that, that's not really cool either. That's not the commitment. That's not it at all, right? But some guys will justify it that way. You know what I mean? So she wants nothing to do with me, but I'm going to stick around for the children. You could have a girlfriend. Like, this commitment is already finished in his head, by the way. Like, if he's going to stick around just to protect the children, not pretend that she's okay, that everything's okay with them. That's a different story, right? And people will do all kinds of crazy things, in the name of justifying things for themselves. Just so you know, because no one ever talks about this, women cheat exactly as much as men do. No one ever talks about this. It's true. It's not funny. It's true. Like my man.
No, it's like funny.
51.7 or 52.1 of men will cheat, and 47.9 of women. Like it's the same thing. 50-50. Here it goes. You're 50-50, right? But nobody talks about this, right? It's always him. No. So I don't. That whole cheating stuff really sort of gets me irritated because nobody considers, that everybody's doing it. For what reason? Everybody's got their reason. Everybody's got their excuse. Everybody's got their, I think. So what I'm talking to you about is like the generally what's happened, because not everybody, obviously, when I say men, it's not 100% of men. When I say women, it's not 100% of women. We're all different. However, we all have streaks inside of us, right? When I talk about a real man, 80% of men, real man, will respond this way. When I talk about women, normal, healthy, not sick in the head people, they respond this way. The relationship develops this way. So that's what I'm talking. So I'm making generalization here, and there's everything in between. But as a rule, right, healthy people, men and women, respond this way, want this way, react this way. And then we got everything else in between, the 20%, and everything else in between that people justify. I'm just saying. But
right. So talking about intimacy now, because I know that there's a big issue in relationships, especially in marriages, tending towards from 5 years, 10 years upwards, right? The intimacy thing, it's no longer interesting in the relationship. So what is the good cause of all this? And is there a way out?
Well, people take each other for granted. Is I think what I see a lot. You know what I mean? Like, so in the beginning, you made efforts. You made efforts. You kind of kept the fire going. There's, often children will kill that, because having children, becoming a mother is not sexy, right? Becoming a mother is not sexy. You know this. You have 4. You know what I mean? So, and when the kids are babies, right? When kids are babies, it takes all your energy, everything you have. So when you have nothing left, and you're, haven't washed, taken a shower for 2 days, that's not very sexy.
And you're still going to take care of yourself, and also, ensure that your career is in place.
and all of that, right? So it's a big load. So people often, this is what I see, like stop, like sort of stop the dynamic between each other. Everybody's tired, everybody's working, everybody's busy, and she's right there and he's right there, and so and it's also a natural phenomenon that happens is the more contacts you have together, the more you depolarize energy together. So overexposure to each other, often kind of neutralize the dynamic. So people just go along like it's no big deal, and she's always there or he's always there, and sort of don't really keep things going or the fire going, and that becomes.
So what is that a way out? What are you suggesting?
Start dating each other again. Don't stop dating, right? Keep lighting the fire. I mean, my wife and I together 27 years. Sunday nights want a date every Sunday night. Every Sunday night want a date. No children. We have 2, right? Like, this is our time once a week. Through COVID, it was fantastic through COVID, because you can go in the restaurant. I go, no, we're not stopping that. I'm not doing this, So we live in California, which is fortunate because the weather's always good. I would take you to our favorite restaurant, order it to go. They would give it to me outside on the parking lot, and we're in the back of the restaurant, in the alley, in the dark, in the trunk of my car with 2 chairs, 3 for a table, and the light of the car, the light of the trunk would actually light up our little table, and the music's in the car, completely romantic, in the dark outside. That's how we did it, right? So we're dating. We're still sort of dating,
Awesome.
So that's the dance. You can't just say, well, oh, it's you again. He comes home at the end of the day, oh yeah, it's you again. Oh, by the way, you left the lights on last night. you can't right. you can't start talking to each other like and taking each other for granted. That's where people make the mistake. That's what
Andre, let's be real. It's tough work, right? It's tough work. Absolutely. It's easier said than done, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, times are really challenging, right?
Yes.
Everybody's trying to make ends meet, and also most people now really tending towards focusing on their health, right? Because you want to balance your work, balance your personal life, balance the home front, right? And also career and stuff like that, and then you're still considering your health. So how do you think you can keep up being the good husband or being the good wife in the marriage? Do you think it's easy?
It's not easy. Of course it's not easy, but you have to realize this is what we all do, and that's the part that people go, oh, things have changed between us. Well, get it. You spend most of your days somewhere else, with spending the best part of you at work, giving all that good energy, all that good aliveness to everybody else. And then you get on the road coming home and you spend more energy